YouTube? Quattro for life here. Just gonna be doing this ONE 6-speed install. So first things first, we gotta get the transmission out, obviously, to get this one in. But you know, instead of just pulling the transmission out, I'm gonna go ahead and pull the engine out. I'm just gonna pull them out together as a unit. It's really not that bad to pull it out. A lot of times I pull the engine out just to fuck with the clutch, like if to change clutch or something, because you know, if you're in the driveway or some shit like that. But you know, if you have access to a lift with a real trans jack, you know, like a tall one, yeah, then you know, by all means, that's definitely the best way to go. But you know, if you're stuck in the driveway and you know, maybe you don't have access to a transmission jack, and maybe you have access to a hoist, or like I said, you know, you're just, you know, you got to buy one or the other. You know, definitely go with the hoist and just yank it all out the front like a B5 S4. You know, done plenty of those, and that's pretty much how you want to do those. So yeah, here she is before surgery. So made some room in here, got plenty of space, plenty of room to get it all out the front here, and you know, work our way around here. So ready or not, here we go. All right, but you know, before we do anything, we got to go to service position. Booyah. Alrighty, went ahead and got started. I went ahead and got the headlights out, got this like little bumper valance out. So when you take this, basically the upper radiator support, hood latch support, whatever you want to call it, just, you don't want these clips that hold the cable on. You can't find them very easily, so just recommend taking it out of the latch on this side right here, so it's exposed, and you can just take it like this and just go right around the hood shock and just set it right there above the blower motor, right on the plastic. That's what I have always done since day one. All right, so now she's nice and exposed. So next, obviously, got to get the bumper off. So normally, you know, on a normal car, you would get the 6mm on this side, one on this side. But for my car, the intercooler piping is actually in the way, and it's kind of a pain in the tuchus to get, you know, the intercooler piping off with the bumper on. So I actually just take the tree bolt off of the main support on both sides on my car, and that basically makes it a lot easier with that intercooler piping. So just gonna go ahead and take the bumper off real quick. I'll go ahead and remove the intercooler and you know, start draining the coolant. You know, we're gonna go ahead and, you know, catch as much coolant as I can. All right, and then while the radiator is draining, I went ahead and got the intercooler piping. Went ahead and got the downpipe off, wastegate. The little breather line going from my catch can from back here. Took that off to get all the connectors and stuff out there. Still waiting on the radiator to drain all the way. So we're just gonna keep going at it. Still a few things to do. All right, got the radiator off. Went ahead and got this ground over here taken off, 13mm. And then the oil cooler lines. I'm still running the factory oil cooler, but I plan to upgrade the oil cooler and the power steering cooler with a much better unit. And then you would take the top nut and then the bolts out to the bottom and take the mounts all the way out so that the engine would just slide straight, including this snub mount and this bracket right here you would take out. So for now, we're going to go ahead and pop this cover off, get the coil packs off, get the fuel injector connectors, all the connectors on this side, all the connectors on the back, crankshaft, all the sensors, cam sensor up here, disconnect. The fuel rail, we're just going to take the O-ring, the injector basically, out of the intake, and the fuel rail will just fold back over like this, just like that. And then for the front, to avoid opening the power steering system, we're just going to take the pump off, still connected, and just fold it back over here. I have actually never taken this pump off this car. I've had this car a very long time now, and I've never actually broken the system on the car, so that's nice. So just gonna do that again just like that. I'm gonna take all the connectors back here off, really simple. It just, if you never do, you pop that one in, pop that one off, just push it straight out like that. It just comes right off of there. The female's on top, click it in, pull it up like that, and then it just comes straight out like that. And they're all like that, so literally like 2 seconds to get all that shit done. So I'm just gonna go ahead and knock all that out real quick. Look at this bad boy. Ooh. Ooh. All right, I got everything disconnected. Motor mounts, nuts are off. Put some tape on the valve cover, just in case, you know, the load leveler or the chain, you know, don't want to hit and scratch up your valve cover, or just anytime you're working and you got a nice valve cover, just obviously pretty simple. Put some tape on that shit. All the connectors are out. All the connectors on this side are out. Power steering pumps off to the side. That's just about it. I'm gonna go ahead and grab the load leveler and get it set up, and then just pop this baby out. One of the things that makes it nice to have the load leveler is so you can obviously change the pitch. So if I need to tilt the transmission like this, you know, the whole assembly, I can obviously do that. That, and also, you know, when you just use like one chain, or, you know, you can use, you know, whatever, rope, whatever the fuck, karate belt, whatever the fuck you're gonna use. You know, I've seen all kinds of shit over the years. It will pull this one and this one like together, and, you know, that's not good. So, you know, $40, can't beat the shit. Just get one, you know. All right, everything is out. Went ahead and got the engine out, popped the transmission off. When I was up in the air, obviously got the bolts underneath, and then lower it down and get the bolts up top. Outside the car, it is very easy to get that shit done. But just left the axles in the car, just removed the actual brackets, like the mounts on the actual transmission. The shifter on the C4 S4s, they come apart. There's 2 bolts right here, so you actually don't have to take the shifter out. I always just leave the shifter in and take those out and line it back up when it's done. But let's see what we got here. Got this, check this stage 4 clutch right here, doing good. Looking good, lightweight flywheel, looking good. Check out this homemade screamer pipe, looking good. So this one is, a lot of people always ask me about turbo and shit, but this is actually a GTX 35. This one has the GTX 35 turbine wheel, but it has a different compressor wheel. It's a little bit bigger. It's a 6-blade. It is billet. You can see the inside, but it moves some pretty good air. Solid unit. Well, yeah, here she is. Just gonna go ahead and get this transmission shit out of the way, and then get the new one on, and then we'll work on getting her back in the car. All right, just got them side by side. Just want to take a quick look. So, I'm gonna go ahead and swap over the shifter linkage. It does not appear that this housing is going to need to be swapped over. It looks like I can just take this little ball socket right here and swap that over for the linkage. Yeah, this piece right here, it's basically like a clip, and when you pop it out, it slides off that shaft. This one doesn't have it, but it looks like I can just use the spacers and the bushing off of the B5 and just basically bolt it right to there. So I'll just figure that out here in a minute when I start turning it apart. And then obviously, some of you might have thought I forgot in the last video, but I did not. We gotta add the fluid. We got the MT90. As most of you know, you really don't want to use anything else. Got my little diff pump right there. So we're gonna go ahead and fill the transmission, swap everything over, and just get it ready to install on the engine. Alright, so pretty much got everything ready to go. Just got the throwout bearing on here, put a little grease on the input, and then on the shaft that the throwout rides on, just a little bit, not too much. So that looks good. Gonna put the slave on later in the car. Went ahead and filled it up, gear oil, put the plug back in there, tighten it up. So I'd say she's ready to go. Alright, we have marriage. Just gonna go ahead and already put the big bolts in, hand tight, just a couple of thread. Would you just look at that? Beautiful. Everything nice and tight, ready to go. Marriage was very successful, very easy to do outside of the car, obviously. Definitely prefer this method. Another issue, pulling just transmission, you know, you got that steering rack you got to deal with. It's kind of a pain in the ass getting it back lined up. It is definitely possible to do, but I assure you the effort is much greater. Like I said earlier, you know, being that this is aftermarket, you know, like this upper mount right here, you know, this is easy to get to, whereas the stock, you know, it's bullfuck, you know, it's can't get to that shit. The downpipe, same thing. This V-band clamp, you know, just one bolt, zip zip, come right off. You know, same thing, wastegate, you know, for me it just 4 bolt pop right off. You know, that shit's pretty easy, like once you get rid of the, you know, the factory downpipe. So, you know, if you got the factory downpipe, you know, I don't recommend, you know, doing clutch here and there and shit like that, but anytime I do a clutch on this car, I always just pull the engine out the front and leave the transmission in. But obviously, changing transmission, we have to yank the whole unit out. So let's go ahead and lift her up and start dropping her in. Alright, so she's going in now. So since we took those mounts off, you know, you can just slide it right past the axles like that. See, it just fits right in between. So that's why I just leave those in. See that? And then as we lower it down, it's going to not just go down, but it's kind of going to go like in like that way towards the back of the car. So I'll just lower it just a little bit, nice and gentle like. Alright, got this axle lined up with the flange. Got this axle lined up with the flange. Went ahead and lined up the linkage, the shifter linkage, the one that has to slide in. You definitely want to do that right now, because if you don't, then you will have to take the shifter out. So I went ahead and slipped under there and did that real quick. So our angle is still way too high in the front, so we're going to go ahead and change the angle a little bit and just drop it down. Alright, so right now what I do to fix the front being so tall is I just put a jack on the tail shaft of the transmission, so that way when we lower the hoist down now, it's only going to lower the front. All the mounts are out, so basically all I have to do is lower it down to about here and then just slide the mount up underneath, put it in there, and then same thing, the bracket is here to clear this. Well, it's already clear, so at this point you can just go ahead and put the bracket with the snub mount once you pass, you know, past there, because when it comes down, you know, it could hit. But you know, you just do, you know, the mounts afterwards, so that way you have all the room in the world to go in there and line everything up. Line the transmission up, obviously, because you want to get the bolts for the trans mounts too, obviously. So get under there and knock some of that out and come back up here and get this thing down on the motor mounts. All right, I got the motor mounts in. Basically got the weight pretty much on them. It's pretty much lined up, ready to go. So got the mounts on the transmission, but we need to put the bolt from the mount to the actual mount on the car. So before you put that bolt in, you don't want this to be tight. You want, I still need to be able to move this, you know, backward and forward, you know, there's like a slot right here where it's got the room to move, and that is basically so you can line everything up if you put them, you know, in back together. So I'm just gonna go down there, show you what I'm talking about. on here. So right here, get my light set up. 1 second. All right. So basically, the bracket is on, and this is the mount. And there's basically the bolt has to go through here, so it's got to line up here. So the engine's got to, you know, come back on this side. That side, same thing. It's lined up pretty good. So I'm just gonna go back up there. Says, you know, I don't have a helper. I'm just gonna go back up there, push it back a little bit, and then just try it. It's pretty much lined up. It just looks like it does need to come back. But if it needs to go up or down now, I've got this jack right here on the back. So if I need to like get the angle right, but you definitely want to get these bolted down before you actually, like I said, bolt the engine down, and you know, make sure everything is totally straight. You don't want anything to be, you know, not straight. That wouldn't be good. So gonna go ahead and knock that out. Got a few more things done. Gonna go ahead and do the fuel rail. Got all of the connectors back there, knock sensor, speed sensor, crank sensor, ignition, coil packs obviously, everything underneath here, the water manifold, those sensors, obviously throttle position, idle air, charcoal canister, all that shit plugged in. Gonna go ahead and flip the injector over. I just want to make a note that, you know, if you get some aftermarket injector, this is just from experience, if you get aftermarket injector like these are FIC 1200, just make sure that when you put them in, make sure that you at least replace the top O-ring with the OEM O-ring, the big fat one. The aftermarket ones, they're very close, but they are actually not perfect in my experience. So, you know, you don't want to cause a leak, especially if you're running, you know, pump gas. You know, you're not running alcohol like me, so that wouldn't be good. So that's just something that I just wanted to note. I definitely don't want that shit to happen. So gonna go ahead and bolt this puppy down. Get the throttle cable. Let's see, gotta get the downpipe and the wastegate. Plug the vacuum line up for the fuel pressure regulator. We're getting close, we're getting close. Got the downpipe on, wastegate on, intercooler pipe on both sides. That's 1, 2. Fuel rails on, all the injectors plugged in. Regulator, good. Oh, you gotta get this breather hose. Get that breather hose on there. And then go ahead, pop the radiator on and the intercooler and add the coolant, and then we'll go ahead and fire up, make sure she's running good. Shouldn't be a problem, but you know, bullshit happen all the time. All right, looking good. Intercooler on, ready to go, all the piping tight. Everything up front, everything buttoned up, got some coolant in it. Went ahead and primed the turbo. So now I'm gonna just prime the fuel rail a couple times. With the VEMs, you know, you don't have to crank, you can just turn it on and it'll prime. So just do it a couple times before cold start. Should be good. All right. Right. Little squeaky, some coolant on the belts. So let's just go right in the first, second, 3, quattro, 5. Moment of truth, boys. Ah! Oh, look at that. No, really, reverse is moment of truth, right? Oh, nice. All right, so you can tell I've done this a few times because I basically know like where to line the shifter up now. It's really easy, I can do it one time, but basically don't line it up with it in neutral, line it up in third gear. Put the transmission in third gear, And so when you come in here, you just line this up where you know, like right in the middle forward, where third gear would be. Go down there, tighten it up, and it will be like 98%. That's my, you know, my suggestion. So, running nice and rich on that E85. No leaks, no coolant leaks. That's a little squeaky. Oh yeah, I got that fan on. I didn't record putting the fan on, but it is on there. Woo! Careful not to get sucked into there. Good, 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 good. Good, good. So good. All right, nice day outside. I got the bumper on, headlights in, auto fascia, everything ready to go. Just gonna give her that cold start. Not bad. I mean, she was just running last night, so I didn't expect it to be bad, but all right, let's go for a drive. No problem, all the gears no problem, so yeah, that's always a good thing, you know. I don't want to do all that work just to find out you totally fucking screw the pooch. Do a little log. Fucking bullshit, get out of here. Alright, try it out. Was only 24, 25 psi. Shift good. All right, so I've been using the wide open throttle shift cut. Just been using the channel that I use for my launch control. So I just switched them back real quick, just to show you a little launch control teaser. So you see, I got the clutch in right now. If we come over here and press that button. Alright, so that just about wrap everything up. Everything good, shifting good, driving good. This is all good. So just want to say thank you everybody for you know, watching, you know, subscribe, like, all that shit. Really appreciate it, help the channel grow. So, just going to keep going, keep doing more. I will be making videos on, like, you know, the tech and the, you know, the speedo and everything like that. Show off the 6-speed a little bit more. Just got the wide open throttle shift cut working, but I was just using the channel for my launch control just to get it working. So now I kind of gotta like switch those around and kind of figure out. I gotta add a new channel to do that. So like even like the VEMs, like if this, you know, if you guys want to see maybe like a tutorial, maybe like a walkthrough, something like that, you know, I'd be willing to try to do something like that. But yeah, just wanted to say thank you, everybody. I appreciate all the support, all the fans, everything. And I hope everybody have a very good day.